In a remote area of Iran, a peculiar scene unfolds. In broad daylight, a vehicle stands still, aiming high into the sky, not with weapons of war, but with rockets. These rockets, launched under the supervision of both Iranian military personnel and scientists, don't target enemies. They target clouds. That's right. These rockets are not instruments of destruction. Instead, they are part of Iran's urgent and evolving response to a growing crisis, the country's worsening water shortage. And while it might sound strange, this skyward strategy may just be one of Iran's most important tools for survival in a time of climate stress. So what's really going on here? Why is Iran launching rockets into the sky? And how could this possibly lead to better living conditions for its people? Iran is among the world's most water-stressed countries. According to the World Resources Institute, Iran's water stress index is extremely high, meaning the country is consuming water far faster than it can replenish it. In short, Iran is running dry. The main reason? Iran's uneven and highly seasonal rainfall pattern. The country's rainy season lasts from October to March, leaving the rest of the year mostly parched. And even during the rainy season, precipitation is unevenly distributed. The Caspian Sea region receives about 50 inches of rainfall annually, but in Iran's central plateau and southern lowlands, some areas get as little as 4 inches of rain per year. This disparity creates a dangerous pattern. For months, regions can go without a single drop of rain, only to be suddenly hit by a torrential downpour that dumps a year's worth of water in just a few hours. These sudden storms can be catastrophic, leading to floods, destruction, and loss of life. But ironically, most of that precious water runs off before it can be absorbed, disappearing into the ground or evaporating soon after. To make matters worse, climate change is accelerating the problem. Experts estimate that Iran's average annual rainfall has dropped by 20 to 25% over the past few decades. Meanwhile, rising temperatures increase evaporation and intensify desertification, turning once habitable land into dry, cracked earth. One of the most striking symbols of Iran's water crisis is Lake Urmia. Located in the country's northwest, it was once the largest saltwater lake in the Middle East, covering more than 2,300 square miles. But starting in the late 1990s, the lake began to shrink. Climate change, rising temperatures, and a series of dam projects that diverted water from rivers feeding the lake caused it to dry up at an alarming rate. By 2014, Lake Urmia had shrunk to just 193 square miles. A once vast body of water had become a fraction of its former size. Though restoration efforts began and brought hope for a time, recent satellite images show the lake has once again almost dried up. As of 2023, only around 5% of the original water volume remains. If nothing changes, the lake could soon become a vast salt flat, altering the region's climate and making conditions even worse for people and agriculture. Some have even proposed building a canal from the Caspian Sea to refill the lake. But that kind of massive engineering project would take years and billions of dollars, resources that Iran may not have readily available. Given the severity of the water crisis, it's no surprise that some Iranians have resorted to desperate explanations. In 2018, a senior Iranian general accused Israel of cloud theft, claiming that Iranian skies were being deliberately robbed of rain. He pointed to surrounding regions, stretching from Afghanistan to the Mediterranean, that received snowfall, while Iran remained dry. Then in 2024, a similar conspiracy surfaced about Turkey. Why, many wondered, were clouds producing rain just across the border, but not over Iran? While these accusations make headlines, scientists have offered more grounded explanations: climate patterns, atmospheric shifts, and topographical differences. But the irony is that Iran itself has long been experimenting with ways to manipulate weather. And this is where those mysterious rockets come in. Those rockets launched from trucks contain a compound called silver iodide. This chemical plays a unique role. It helps create rain. Here's how it works. In nature, precipitation begins when water vapor in clouds condenses around tiny particles and forms droplets or ice crystals. Eventually, these grow large enough to fall as rain or snow. Silver iodide mimics the structure of ice crystals, giving moisture something to cling to, essentially speeding up the natural precipitation process. So when Iran fires these rockets into the sky, the goal is simple: to seed the clouds and trigger rainfall. Planes can do the same thing. They fly into or above the clouds and spray silver iodide directly. Aircraft offer greater mobility, but ground-based rockets are cheaper and quicker to deploy. While cloud seeding has been used globally since the 1950s, Iran is trying to take it further. The country is investing in new technologies to make cloud seeding more effective, more efficient, and more affordable. In 2017, Iran's Water Research Institute signed a contract with a private company, whose identity remains undisclosed, to develop specialized drones for cloud seeding. These drones are designed to fly up to 15,000 feet, remain airborne for up to 12 hours, and carry payloads of over 110 pounds. Unlike planes, drones don't need runways or human pilots. They can be launched remotely, fly into mountainous areas, and carry out missions in risky regions, like above high-altitude watersheds, without endangering lives. These high-tech devices offer a new frontier in Iran's fight against drought. By targeting clouds over mountainous regions, drones can trigger snowfall, critical for sustaining river systems that rely on melting snow during the dry season. And Iran didn't stop there. In 2011, the country captured a U.S. stealth drone, the RQ-170 Sentinel, and began developing its own versions. By 2021, reports surfaced that these modified drones were being used for cloud seeding operations. One such drone crashed that year, and Iranian officials confirmed it had been part of a weather modification mission. But launching silver iodide into clouds is only one part of the equation. Finding the right clouds is equally important. In 2022, Iran announced it had developed an advanced radar system designed specifically for cloud seeding operations. Built domestically over several years, this system helps meteorologists identify optimal cloud formations for seeding, ensuring that every rocket or drone launch counts. Iran claims this radar system is more efficient than its international counterparts and marks a milestone for the country. It also positions Iran as a regional leader in weather modification technology. It's a fair question. Are all these efforts, rockets, planes, drones, radar, actually paying off? According to the head of Iran's meteorological organization, the results are promising. He stated that precipitation levels increased by about 25% after cloud seeding operations. However, he also cautioned that cloud seeding is not a silver bullet. The real solution lies in long-term water management, efficient agricultural practices, and better consumption habits. Still, cloud seeding offers Iran a valuable tool, especially when combined with other strategies. But one major challenge remains: funding. Without sufficient investment, Iran can't build more rockets, deploy more drones, or expand its radar coverage. As with many ambitious projects, progress is often limited by resources. While Iran's efforts are impressive, they pale in comparison to what's happening in China, the undisputed global leader in weather modification. China operates the largest weather control program in the world, employing over 37,000 people across the country. These specialists regularly deploy silver iodide to create rain and snow. Why? Because China, like Iran, is running out of water. Despite having 20% of the world's population, China has only 6% of its freshwater resources, and climate change is making things worse. A 2018 study showed that 82% of China's glaciers have retreated since the 1950s, dramatically reducing water flow into rivers like the Yangtze and Yellow River. Forecasts suggest that by 2030, China's water demand will exceed supply. That's why China takes cloud seeding so seriously. In fact, China has used the technique for years during major national events. In 1997, Beijing created artificial snowfall for Christmas. During the 2008 Olympics, officials cleared clouds away from the capital to prevent rain from disrupting the games. The government has also used cloud seeding to fight wildfires, reduce air pollution, and combat dust storms. For example, in April 2006, Beijing used weather control methods to reduce the impact of a massive dust storm that dumped 300,000 tons of sand onto the city. Whether it's in China or Iran, cloud seeding is no longer science fiction. It's a growing part of real-world strategies to manage the consequences of climate change. While these technologies won't solve water scarcity overnight, they offer hope, especially for countries struggling with drought, desertification, and extreme weather patterns. And as the science improves and more nations get involved, artificial rain could become a vital lifeline for the planet's driest regions. So the next time you see a rocket launching quietly into the sky, it might not be heading to space or war. It might just be chasing rain.